Look up the word crazy in the dictionary and you might just find an asterisk beside the definition that says, listen to the Subiquitous podcast featuring Sue Duffield and you'll find out what crazy means. Sue's travelogue journey of unfiltered stories, impossible miracles, and faith-filled fun will be revisited right here. So buckle up and let's get going with this humorous travelogue of an unfiltered saint, Subiquitous.
Episode number 106 on the Subiquitous podcast. You know by far, if you've been 100 episodes listening, you know what I'm about. You know I'm about the backstories of wonderful people. I'm about the fun stuff that nobody talks about. The stuff that when you go out to dinner with people after a concert, or whatever, if you go out after a gig and you sit down and you tell some of those great stories, let me tell you something. There is no one better than Lauren Talley that can tell you some great stuff that maybe the whole world doesn't know about, but I'm going to tell you right now, Lauren, it is a joy to have you on this podcast today.
I've been looking forward to this. I knew this would be by far the most entertaining interview I've ever been part of. So I'm honestly a little nervous. I don't really know where this is all going to go or what we're going to get into, but it will be fun.
It's going to be fun. And that's the whole thing. You know, you and I both know, I'll be honest with you, I've been in radio for forever, and I don't like interviews. I know, as funny as that sounds, doing a podcast, I hate interviews. But what I love is just two friends just chatting at the table. And that's what we're doing today. And I know enough about Lauren, just enough to know that when she does a photo shoot, she has some secrets.
You can't tell everything you know. Okay, so I had a photo shoot for my new album the other day, and I subscribed to this subscription service called Stitch Fix. They send you clothes instead. They send you a box like every 3 or 4 weeks full of clothes, and you can pick what you like, and then send back the clothes you don't want. And I got an outfit in my Stitch Fix box the other day that I just absolutely loved, but it was crazy expensive. And I don't even know why they sent it to me because I never buy stuff that expensive. But so I thought, well, this is just too fabulous not to wear in my photo shoot. But I thought there's no way I want to spend that much money. So I wore the outfit in the picture and I made the photographer hide the tags because I left the tags on it. And I told her, I was like, don't shoot from that side because the tag's going to show it. So I left the tags on it. And then after the photo shoot, I boxed it up and sent it back to Stitch Fix. So if anybody from Stitch Fix is listening to this,
well, you know what? Here's the cool thing.
I'm really sorry.
You just gave a great plug, though, for Stitch Fix. So
maybe
really
it's a lot of fun to open up that box every few weeks and see what's in there. But
oh, it's awesome.
And I think pretty stuff that I really like is always the most expensive stuff. I don't know why life is that way, but gosh, everything's that way now.
Life is that way, and you deserve that because I'll tell you, you're not the first person to do that. We used to go across the street to the mall and to Macy's and buy something and hide the tags underneath of our armpits, take a pretty picture, and then take it back. And I know that's probably horrible, but that's what we used to do.
Well, I only wore it for like 10 minutes. I mean, I didn't even hardly get it on before I took it back off again. So I was basically trying it on. That's what I did.
That's what you were doing. That's right.
And I just had my picture taken
you were doing
try it on.
You were test marketing the dress.
I'm happy to do that. Anybody wants to send me free clothes, I'm happy to do that.
Well, Lauren, we could talk about a million things. And for those of you that don't know, and my audience, you're going to love this. My audience, pretty much across the board, doesn't know who Lauren Talley is. So think
most
about
people
that
don't. So that's, it's not anything new.
I don't think so. I think you sell yourself short, but I do know this, that they're going to love you and they're going to want to get your music and just the whole legacy that's behind you, but the future that's ahead of you. Tell me a little bit just about what it was like as a kid growing up with your parents And watching them on stage, I know you probably have had that microphone in your hand even when you were just a kid.
First time I ever sang on stage, I was 2 years old, and I really wasn't even supposed to. The story goes that I got away from the babysitter one night, and I ran up on the stage during a song, and I basically interrupted their concert. And I just stood there until the song was over and just stared at them. And when they got done singing, they looked at me and like, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want to sing."
You want to sing?
And what amazes me is they let me. They did. I think I might have sung Amazing Grace or Victory in Jesus or something like that. And after I got done, I handed them the mic back and I went back to the babysitter. And so I was 2 years old when that happened. I sang just about every night on their concerts after that, my whole childhood. And when I was 13, I joined my mom and dad as a full-fledged member of the Talleys. And we sang as the Talleys for 25 years.
Wow.
Until 2020. My mom and dad had already made plans to retire at the end of 2020.
Right.
Before the COVID pandemic ever happened.
Is that right? I didn't realize that.
That kind of helped it along, I guess. They retired a little sooner than they had planned on, but we were blessed to get to do that together for a long, long time. And if people are familiar with me at all, it's probably from that period of my life. We were blessed to get to do a lot of cool things, like be on Gaither Homecoming videos and different TV things. And it was an education for me, for sure, to get to not only sing with my family, but get to be around lots of other people who had been doing it much longer than I had. And
Right.
and I got to watch them and learn from them. And since 2020, I have been a full-time soloist. I started recording solo albums when I was 18 years old, and I have about 7 or 8 of them now. Working on, is it number 8 or number 9? Something like that. I'm working on a new one right now that will be out later this year. We're hoping for the fall release on that, and you'll see the outfit probably that I sent back to Stitch Fix.
I can't wait to see that.
I've been a soloist for 2 years now, and it's a totally different animal than singing with a group, but it's been lots of fun. And I feel in my heart that the Lord had it all worked out like it was supposed to be, and He's led me to where I am now and having a good time.
That's awesome. And not only are you a pretty face, Lauren, for goodness sake, you have a great voice, but there's something you need to know about those in my sphere of influence that know you. And I've kind of picked their brains on you. And there's some wonderful things that they say. Yeah, no, it's a good...
I'm a little afraid to hear this part.
No, you're the real deal. And there are some, let's just face it, there's some gospel music brats out there. I'm just going to be quite frank with you. They grew up with a legacy of faith in the music, and they grew up singing the songs of their parents and moving on. And they kind of have this entitlement thing. I have never once ever talked to anyone that says that you have that attitude about you. In fact, if anything, your heart for your audience is just huge. How does that happen?
Well, that's very nice to hear. I appreciate that. My parents did not allow any hint of being a stage brat, as you referred to it. They were always very careful.
I'll take the hit for that.
They were always very careful. Keep it at the forefront that you treat people right. You do things the way you're supposed to do them. You're not better than anybody else. You're expected to strive every day to do what you know is right.
Right.
I was raised with what I feel like is a good work ethic. And my parents were raised that way too. My grandparents, my paternal grandparents, my dad's parents, were dairy farmers. They rarely ever even left the farm except to go to church. Or, my papa liked to go to ham suppers at the 4-H club, but that was about the extent of their lives.
Well, that sounds good right about now.
So they were just really simple, down-to-earth, hardworking people. And I lived very close to them growing up. We lived about a mile away, so I spent a lot of time around them. I feel like that influence really helped me stay as grounded as possible. Not everybody has a life like mine was when I was growing up and still is now. But I feel like they helped remind me that life is not the stage. That's not where your real life is. That's just a portion of it. When you go home and you love your family and your friends and your church, that's who you are. And not everybody's going to be clapping for you all the time.
Mm-mm.
How we treat people at the end of the day is the most important.
That's your reputation. Not only is that your reputation, that's your parents' reputation.
That does tend to weigh heavy on me sometimes because I feel like now I'm the only Talley that's left out here singing and doing this in any capacity. I come from a great legacy of that, but I'm the only one out here now that's doing it, and I want to do it in a way that honors the ones that went before me because they accomplished a lot. And there's times that I guess I kind of feel a little pressure to live up to that.
Sure.
I want to make my family proud.
And you do by far. One of the things when I heard you recently, we shared an event at Christmas. I just was so amazed at how you're able to take different genres of music. Granted, you were, in a Southern gospel realm, but you're really branching out more and more and doing a lot more of a broad base of music. And to me, that is just touching a whole lot more hearts than just one isolated form of music.
I've always liked lots of different kinds of music. Figure if I do, then lots of other people do too.
Right.
But it all kind of comes under the same umbrella of my roots and where, what I was raised with. But it's funny. Yesterday I was in the car. I had about a 45-minute drive yesterday. And in the car, I was jamming out to old BB and CC Winans stuff that I grew up listening to. When I was 9 or 10 years old, I wanted to be CC Winans as best as a 9-year-old girl can do. And I'm telling you, I know some of her songs better than I know my own. And I was going down the road just singing those songs for all I was worth. It's kind of funny to look back on all of the things that shaped me as a singer and as an artist. And a lot of that is due to my parents because they exposed me to a lot of different kinds of music growing up.
Right.
So I've always tried to take different things from different people that I really admired. And somehow all of that has kind of turned into me. So I do like lots of different things, though. I would be so bored if I just sang the same thing all the time.
There's no doubt. And that's what, even in the small world, that we would call just our own little library of music, whatever's in your iPhone, whatever's in my iPhone, you would probably be shocked.
Oh, for sure.
To see what I have in mind, too, as well. But the good thing is that good music is good music.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both sharing the lyrics as you do is where the definitive mark comes.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about, Sam, your husband Sam is a good singer too.
Yeah,
Man.
he is. He actually just walked in and he's over here rolling his eyes and nodding at everything I say. Yeah, my husband is a great singer, songwriter. He plays guitar, plays piano a little bit, and he's actually released a couple of singles now himself on Spotify and different platforms. But yeah, that's actually kind of how we met. I saw a video of him singing on Facebook. It showed up in my newsfeed out of nowhere, and we had no mutual friends. There was no reason for that video to be in my feed, but I saw it and I went, well, who are you? You look interesting. Let's find out a little bit about you. So I watched the video and I thought it was really good. And so I just commented, I didn't want to be too obvious. I was trying to be cool. I just commented, good job. That was it. And he responded back, messaged me about 30 seconds later, and we exchanged numbers and we met in person soon after that. And here we are. Now we've been married for about a year and a half. Now I'm a bonus mom to 5 kids.
I love that.
Yeah.
That term bonus mom is so great. Oh, that's so great. To 4, right?
5.
Oh, 5.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
15, well, about to be 16, 11, 10, and 9-year-old twins. I was not prepared for how much these people eat. I mean, it is constant. They're into sports and all different kinds of things. The 2 oldest boys are just the sports studs, football and basketball and track, and they do all the things. And
wow,
we spend pretty much all of our time now, if we're not working, if I'm not out singing, we're at the ball field, we're at a practice or a game or something like that. So it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I bet. And that has changed your life. Let's just say it.
Totally.
I know that.
I was an only child, and I am an only child, and I had never really been around kids very much until I met up with this crowd. And so it's definitely been a growing experience for me because I didn't really know anything about kids. I'm definitely trying to learn on the fly.
So you didn't know anything about Sam. Did Sam know who Lauren Talley was?
He asked me, he said, "Are you the same Lauren Talley that sings gospel music?" I said, "Yeah, that's me." He said, "Okay." He said, "Well, I've seen you at a Gaither concert." And he had actually been to see us at a Gaither concert when he was like 16 and I was 17 or something like that. And we didn't
Wow.
have any contact with each other until,
Sure.
until we met in person. But so, yeah, he's a pastor's son and he was kind of familiar with all of that world. So, yeah, he knew a little bit. It was definitely a God thing, how it all got put together.
I love when I see the two of you together and how you look at each other. Don't judge me for this, but I've been married 47 years and I still look at the man in the other room like I'm dazed with some kind of crazy romantic thing. So there's hope for you in 47 years. You know what I'm saying?
That's good to know. Well, we were older when we got married, so after we've made it to 47 years together, I don't know if we'll be too tired to do that or not, but, but we still do it now.
Sam does travel with you on occasion, correct?
Every once in a while, he's able to go, but between work and the 5 kids, and it seems like there's always something going on. He doesn't go on a regular basis.
Right.
He was with me this past weekend. I sang up in Knoxville and got to hang out with my family a little bit, so he got to be there for that. We work out those times every once in a while.
Well, talking with your mom, as I do on occasion, she loves Sam. Don't you love it when your parents love the person you've selected? I think that's awesome. I think it's a wonderful thing, actually.
I'm really happy for them because Sam is the son that they always wanted and never had. It's really neat for me to watch their relationship with each other grow and develop. And as a matter of fact, this next week, we're all going on vacation together. My husband is a great bowler.
Awesome.
He's not a pro, but he's like a champion bowler. And next week he's in the national bowling tournament.
Oh, man.
So we're all going on vacation. He's going to be in the bowling tournament while we're there. So that'll be fun. I'm lucky if I just get the ball, halfway down to the pins.
I was going to say.
I'm terrible.
I live in the lanes. So I tell people, I live in the lanes.
My ball stays in the gutter. I can tell you that.
The backstory of your life and how God had molded you. And I know you've probably been through some tough stuff. I know you've been through some challenges in your life, but yet you're able to still be able to draw in from all different aspects, not only from Sam's life, but your life, and now together as a bonus parent to 5 kids. Talk about legacy now that you can leave with them as well.
I hope so. There's days I feel like I get more wrong than I get right, but we're all just kind of learning as we go. I guess that's true of everybody in life.
It is.
You're going to be put in situations that you don't know anything about and that you don't have an answer for. And I'm not a real big fan of that because I'm the type that likes to be in control of everything.
Amen.
All the time. I hate situations where I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. But I seem to be finding myself there a lot these days. And so I think that's God's way of kind of yanking me out of my comfort zone and saying, you're not supposed to know everything and you're not supposed to be in charge of everything. That's what you've got me for. So, yeah, I'm definitely learning a whole lot about all that.
Well, besides your mom and dad and maybe even Sam now, who are some early influences in your life that you can think about right now that kind of you look at that person or you think about that person and you say, you know what, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today?
Oh, there's a handful of those. I learned how to sing alto sitting next to my mama in church. My papa led the singing at their little Free Will Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't big enough to have a minister of music. He was just the song leader.
That's right.
My mama sang alto. She was kind of the main alto in the choir. And they sang out of the old redback hymn book, all the shape notes and all that. And I used to sit next to her and I would hear her sing that part. And I would try to sing what she sang. They were the grandparents that were the dairy farmers. They were a huge influence on my growing up. They taught me about music. They taught me about just living a good, simple life, working hard, trying to treat people right. My other grandparents lived a long way from me. They lived about 7 or 8 hours away in Western Kentucky. But my mom's mom played the piano at her church for 66 years.
Wow.
She only stopped after my grandfather was in bad health and she couldn't be there every time. But they were just really faithful people, just good salt of the earth people that you could count on.
Mm-hmm.
The influence of my grandparents was very strong. There were a few people in gospel music that had a guiding hand, and probably they never even knew it.
Mm-hmm.
When I was about 10, 11 years old, the Martins had just come on the scene really big.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting more interested in singing seriously. And I drank every note they sang in, and I learned every word to all of their songs. And I remember thinking, if I could do something with singing or with music, I'd kind of like to be kind of like them because they were cool. Nobody
Yeah,
thinks their
that's
parents are
right.
cool, but I thought they were cool. So
That's right. That's right. We won't tell your dad and mom.
right. Well, it's okay. He knows.
But I get that. That's
But I remember listening to all their stuff and thinking, now this music is cool. Now, if I ever did anything, I'd want to do it like that. And I've told them that.
that's awesome.
Man, there are just so many that even if I didn't know it at the time, I was learning from them. And now that I'm kind of in a different endeavor of my own, I go back and I think back to what I saw them do years ago. And I still pull from those things. My uncle Kirk Talley was a soloist back in the 90s, 2000s. You want to talk about a magnetic personality in front of a crowd. There was no crowd that he could not win over. And
No
he
doubt.
still has that same personality today. And I find myself now remembering things that he did and borrowing things that I saw him do. And so all of those things, all of those people have played a part, whether they knew it or not.
Well, you don't know this, but back about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was doing a whole segment on the legacy of faith. And we talked to Stephen Spear. I talked to a few other people that are in ministry or in music. And they all said the same thing, Lauren, that we're all kind of a composite of a lot of influences.
Sure.
And the good thing is that we really need to pass it on to the new generation. And that's what your new music is doing. You are encouraging a whole new generation of future artists and future ministries. And you're really giving a great face to women in ministry around the world. I kind of forged that ground 50 years ago when I was told I couldn't do certain things. And could. Oh, yeah, that would be nice. But it's so fun, though, to see you as another generation taking it over and saying, hey, it's not about I am woman, hear me roar. It's about I am woman, hear me pray, and I am woman, here I am. At the same time, just really being used of God in everything that you do. And that's what's so fun. But you got to tell me, and I know you're full of them, tell me some of your funny stories, the backstories or hilarious stories on stage. This is what inquiring minds want to know.
Okay, so you want me to tell the stuff that makes me look stupid?
Well, no, I want the real.
Well,
Lauren
I mean,
Talley.
it's already happened in front of an audience, so okay. Last year, I was singing in Branson, Missouri at Silver Dollar City.
Okay.
They have a big gospel music festival there every fall. They have multiple artists singing in the park every day.
Right.
Well, Brian Free and Assurance was in this theater in the morning, and I was singing in the same theater that afternoon. And when I got to the park, the parking attendant told me to park right next to their bus. So I knew they were still there.
Okay.
And the driver got off and he said, and I said, hey man, how you doing? He said, oh, we're good. He said, we're going to leave here in a little while. He said, but the guys are still milling around in the park. Okay, well, maybe we'll see them.
Okay.
So I do 3 shows. And in the 3rd show, my last one of the day, I look out and I see familiar faces sitting in the audience. And I thought, man, that is so nice. Brian Free and Pam, his wife, Brian and Pam stayed over to hear me sing my last show. That is so nice of them. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so I told the crowd, I said, folks, we have a celebrity sighting here today. Brian Free and his wife Pam are good friends of mine, and they came to see my last show, and I just appreciate them. Y'all stand up and let everybody see you and let everybody clap for you. And the couple that I gestured toward
Right.
stared at me like I had just spoken Chinese. They looked at me like, what? And I realized it wasn't Brian and Pam that I had recognized. I had recognized two complete strangers. And so I thought, oh my gosh, you idiot. You have recognized two people that aren't here. I thought, what am I going to say? And so I just said, oh, y'all aren't who I thought you were. Well, stand up and wave and look important anyway. Well, I look on the back wall of the auditorium, and Danny Jones, who is the publisher of the largest Southern gospel music magazine in the country,
Right.
and D.A. Calloway, who is the head of entertainment for Silver Dollar City, are in the floor laughing.
Of course they are.
And I thought, well, I better take a picture of this place if I ever want to see it again, because they'll never ask me back to Silver Dollar City ever again.
That's classic. Oh, that is classic. So you recovered well, though. You really did recover well.
But man, I felt so stupid. And then when I got back to my car, the bus was still there, and all of Brian Free's guys were standing outside. So I had to tell them what I had done. And they were rolling. They've never let me live it down. So.
They're never going to let you live that one down.
Now, I'll tell you that's not the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened. The most embarrassing or stupid thing I've ever said on stage, I have learned since then, do not address somebody in the audience if you can't see them really good or if you're not sure who you're talking to.
Yes.
This happened back with the Talleys during our last year or two. In the audience, I got somebody's attention and I called this person ma'am that wasn't.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
There's
nothing worse.
I was so mortified, and there is no good way out of that.
There is no good way.
I heard my mom say behind me, "That's not a woman." I went, "Oh no." So I tried to play it off like I was talking to the woman behind this person.
Oh, that's right.
But I don't think I pulled it off. Oh, I could have died. I could have died.
Oh, man.
But you know as well as I do, if you spend any time talking on stage, eventually you're going to say something dumb or embarrassing.
That's right.
Just don't recognize somebody that isn't there.
That's right. But your recovery time tells me all I need to know that, you know what, if you flub up, you just go with it.
What else are you going to do? I mean, you don't have any other choice.
Nothing. No, you don't.
They don't have a trap door underneath the stage for you to sink through, so you got to just you just got to try to get out of it and go on.
That is so funny. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because it didn't happen to you.
Well, that's true. No, I've had other awful things. I've actually cursed from the stage, but we won't even talk about that.
Oh my gosh.
You know, not in a place where I thought I knew what I was saying. And it wasn't like one of those real bad words. It's actually a word that's in the Bible. Okay. It's in the Bible. Let's just say
not one of the real bad ones. She said.
It's not one of the real bad ones, but when it came out of my mouth, Lauren, I thought I would die. I thought I would die. And so the only thing I can say is, you know, that church that I was singing, they invited me back. So something happened. I don't know.
Okay. They understood.
I was all right. I said, yep, for a sinner saved by grace, you know, that's all right. But, the word that I used is in the Bible. Let's just say that much. So anyway. Well, you know, it's part of who we are. And this whole thing of, you know, being who we are on stage, that's who you do and who I do. And everybody else that I know that's the real deal, they do the real thing on the platform. Things are going to happen like that for sure.
You just pray that people understand and go, you know what? They're just human. They're a person. And,
that's right.
You know, it's never our intent to, you know, upset anybody or offend anybody, but man.
No.
Sometimes.
Yeah, we could say, oh, bless her heart. You know, stuff like that. We could say that.
Yeah.
You know,
I say bless my own heart on a regular basis.
Bless her heart. This is going to be actually live in the next couple of days. So you've got all of July and August. So you can tell us kind of some places that you're going to be, maybe if you know off the top of your head where you're going to be.
I'm going to have to pull my own schedule up. I have to look on my own website to know where I'm going.
I know. I understand.
I'm sure you have listeners all over the place. In the next 2 months, I'm in West Virginia, Ohio, Tennessee, Virginia. I'm at Dollywood at the in the last week of July.
Oh,
Ohio, Kansas, Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana. I'm all over the place, man. The best thing to do is to just go on my website, laurentalley.com. You can read my tour schedule there, and you'll know where I'm going and what I'm doing. And I'd love for your listeners to come out and hear me, and maybe I'll recognize them and make them stand up and wave, even though I don't know who they are.
That would be great. Maybe they'll raise their hand and say, I heard you with that woman. What's her name? Subiquitous. I had somebody, they couldn't pronounce the Subiquitous podcast. They went, the Subiquitous. I heard you on there. Well, before we go, is there anything that you'd like to just end our episode together? Is there something on your heart? Something, I know we're praying for bonus mom's son right now, who's been going through some real struggles, but anything besides that or along those lines that you want us to pray about, think about, it's all yours.
Well, it is kind of along those same lines. I told you that we have five kids, and one of them right now is really, really struggling with some physical issues. Some folks that have followed me for the past year or so and already know a little bit about this. Our middle son, he's 10 now. He last year was diagnosed with a brain tumor. That's an ongoing thing. He is in outpatient treatment at St. Jude's Children's Hospital in Memphis. They've got some decisions to make coming up in the near future. He's been making really good progress. He lost all of the movement on his left side about a year ago when he had the stroke. That was how everybody was able to discover the tumor that was there.
Right. And
he's been learning again how to walk and how to use his left arm and all that. And his vision, he lost quite a bit of vision. So we're just praying that the Lord will touch him and heal him however that he'll
Amen.
give all of us grace to deal with all of that and help our boy understand as best a 10-year-old can everything that's going on. And so if you would just keep our family in your prayers as we go through all that.
Amen.
You know, that's definitely been the biggest challenge so far. I don't think there's any way anybody can prepare for something like that, but I feel especially unprepared being a new step parent coming into a situation like that. And so we're all just trying to figure it out and deal with it the best that we can. So
that's right.
If you would keep our family in your prayers.
Amen.
Help us pray for good reports for our boy.
And what is his first name?
Landon.
So Landon's on the top of my echo.
He's the funniest kid you've ever met. And I'll tell you a little snippet of what he's like. He dances everywhere, and he don't care if he's at church or at Walmart. He don't care. He just has a good time wherever he goes. And so he's always kept everybody laughing. He's always been the one that wants to entertain everybody. And so we've prayed that, that his personality would always be there, that he would not, that he would not lose that, because I think it's a big part of how God made him.
It is.
Yeah. So you and he would be buds. He's Mr. Personality.
Oh man. Well, I can't wait to meet him, and I hope to do that soon. And I can't think of a better blended family than Sam and Lauren and these 5 precious angels. You know, what you're bringing to the table is more than music, more than performance, and it's probably your biggest achievement that you've ever had besides Dove Awards and all these other kinds of awards. My friend, you are experiencing real life and real joy at the same time. And you know what? It shows on the platform. And I praise God for your life.
Well, I appreciate that. I definitely would not call us the perfect family, because there's no such thing. But we don't have perfection, but we do have love.
That's right.
God's the one that gives that to you. And when he gives it to you, it's our job to spill it over and give it to other people. That's what we're trying to do.
That's right. Amen. Well, thank you, Lauren. Thank you for being a part of this.
Thanks for having me. Now, I want to come back sometime and hear your embarrassing stories.
Oh, and there's tons. I'll give you an episode number. We'll do that. We'll have you back. We'll have episode 2 with Lauren, and we'll do that. We'll make it all about embarrassing stories. That'll be great. That'll be awesome.
I'm sure I'll have a whole new repertoire to share by then.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Get on SueDuffield.com. In fact, I'm going to have all the links to Lauren Talley's website on my website on that first page. So get on SueDuffield.com. And in the meantime, you can also get on LaurenTalley.com to find out where she's going to be, find out about her life and her amazing career. And there's no one like her anywhere. Thanks for being a part of this Ubiquitous podcast. Lauren, I love you with all my heart. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me on, Sue. It's been fun.